And joining us now is Ben Rhodes, former Deputy National Security Advisor during the Obama administration. We're seeing a national security cabinet. Mike Waltz for National Security Advisor, Pete Hegseth, if he gets confirmed, for Pentagon, Ratcliffe for CIA, Rubio for the State, and a lot of talk about Grinnell and Kash Patel, but they haven't landed anyplace yet. And Elon Musk on the outside, but on the inside.
Yeah, Andrea, I mean, it's interesting to kind of go back and consider that in 2017, if you put aside the kind of couple weeks that Mike Flynn was there, in 2017, the team was H.R. McMaster as National Security Advisor, Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State, Jim Mattis as Secretary of Defense. These were pretty conventional people. There were also people that Trump didn't know very well, in some cases didn't know at all. And you fast forward to today, I think the common thread through all of these people is that they're people who fully signed on to the MAGA agenda. You know, they fully signed on to an America First approach to foreign policy, a transactionalism in foreign policy, to really cutting off Ukraine. I think this kind of reinforces the message that there should not be an expectation of any kind of medium-term, long-term support for Ukraine. And they're not, yes, they're not at the far edge, the far fringe of Kash Patel and Mike Flynn and Rick Grinnell. We'll see what ends up happening to those people. But, you know, they're kind of pushing the edges, pushing the boundaries, and particularly when you talk about a Fox and Friends host running the Pentagon, they're kind of pushing the boundaries of this mainstream and very much in line with a kind of MAGA agenda and a very common thread of an anti-China kind of belligerence too. And so I think you see the characteristics of a Trump second-term national security policy taking shape here.
And Ukraine, we're told there's going to be a special envoy for Ukraine. We don't know the name yet.
Yeah, and you know, here's my concern on Ukraine, Andrea, is that there's a sense that, well, maybe, you know, Putin has said nice things about Trump, and, you know, maybe there does need to be an end to this war. The Ukrainians are losing ground. I don't know what incentive Vladimir Putin has to freeze this conflict right now. He feels like he has battlefield momentum in eastern Ukraine. He feels like he's about to go on offense with North Korean soldiers in the Kursk region of Russia. He feels like the geopolitical winds just shifted definitively in his direction with the election of Donald Trump. So I think this is going to be a lot harder than Donald Trump. You know, he already said that the war would end in one day after he was elected. You know, Putin has his own interest here. And I think he's going to press his advantage as far as he can so that when it does get to some kind of frozen conflict, that he's accumulated as much Ukrainian territory as possible. So, you know, that envoy will have, you know, obviously the mandate to negotiate, but that envoy won't have the support of the leverage of continued U.S. assistance, because I think Putin is looking at this and thinking, well, there's no way the Americans are going to be in with the Ukrainians for the long haul here. So what incentive do I have to make any concessions?
And briefly, you were with President Obama when he welcomed, if that's the word to use, politely welcomed Donald Trump to the White House, the Oval Office, that the roles were reversed with Biden. How hard was this for Biden today?
I can't imagine, Andrea, given that the whole last decade for Joe Biden has been about not sitting there welcoming Donald Trump to the White House. You know, the Obama experience was a strange one because Trump, when he got in the room with Obama, was very solicitous and very open and wasn't adversarial at all. You know, he wants to get along with the person who's sitting right in front of him. So I'm sure that they probably figured out some way to get along. But I'm sure that Biden was also trying to make a case on support for Ukraine. And whatever Trump said in that room is probably not necessarily what he's going to do. So I have to imagine that this is a pretty deflating experience in the White House today.